Good evening. How's everyone? Happy to have you all here tonight. Start with the verse of the Kesa. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Tathagata's teaching, freeing all creations. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Tathagata's teaching, freeing all creations. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Tathagata's teaching, freeing all creations. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought, now I atone for it all. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought, now I atone for it all. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought, now I atone for it all. Excuse me, Lola. Thank you. The fragrance of this incense invites the awakened mind to be present with us now. The fragrance of this incense fills our room, protects and guards our minds from wrong thinking. The fragrance of this incense unites us with precepts, concentration, and insight. We offer it for all beings. Homage to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I shall become one with the Buddha. I resolve that I shall each day follow the way of life he laid down for us to walk and awaken to his supreme wisdom. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I shall become one with the Dharma. The gates of Dharma are manifold. I vow to enter them all. The goal of wisdom is ever beyond. I shall attain it. I go to the Sangha for guidance. I shall become one with the Sangha in the spirit of universal fellowship and as a member of the Sangha. I pledge myself to strive for the enlightenment of all beings. The Metta Sutta. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove. Wishing in gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another. Even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with the boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upward to the skies and downward to the depths, outward and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, sitting or lying down, free from drowsiness, one should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding. By not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desires, is not born again into the world of suffering. May I be happy and well. May no harm come to me. May I learn compassion. May all my friends, family, and those I love be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all those troubled in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all those who have hurt me in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all those I have hurt in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all my enemies be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all living beings be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. So we will meditate for a bit. I'd like for us to meditate on compassion. We just chanted the Metta Sutra and then the prayers for Metta. And we end with the phrase, may they learn compassion. May we learn compassion. So let's do that. And there's a Tibetan practice called Tonglen that's kind of similar to the Theravada practice of cultivating compassion, but I like it a little better. So take a few deep breaths. And as you exhale, bring your attention to the center of your chest, to your heart. And let your breath settle into a comfortable, natural rhythm. And keep your attention there at your heart and aware of the breathing. As you're breathing in, aware that you're breathing in. Breathing out, aware that you're breathing out. Extending your long breath slightly, or your out breath slightly, so it becomes a little longer. So we'll begin this process with ourselves. If we don't recognize our own stress, our own suffering for what it is, it's very difficult to recognize it in others. And we all experience the stresses of birth and death, illness and old age, separation from people and conditions that we love, being around people and in situations that we don't like. And then there's the stress that we create from not accepting those things. From being attached, from being greedy, from being hateful, angry, misunderstanding, all those things that create stresses. So think about the form that your stress is taking, whatever it is. And as you breathe in, just accept that. So maybe there's worry, maybe there's grief, maybe there's anger. Just accept that, and as you breathe out, send yourself relief. So if you're worried, send yourself calmness. Friendship, equanimity. And if you like, you can imagine that your stress is darkness. Some people think of it as black smoke. Whatever works for you to represent your stress, breathing it in, taking it into your heart, and transforming it with self-compassion to freedom, to peacefulness, to kindness. And as you exhale, you can do it with the thought, may I be free from suffering. Maybe there's someone that you know that you'd like to help. Maybe someone who's going through a difficult time. Maybe they're sick or they have a loved one who's sick. And accept their suffering into your heart. Breathe it in and transform it in your heart. And as you exhale, send them freedom. Comfort them. Offer them friendship, kindness, peace. With the thought, may they be free from suffering. And think of a friend or a loved one. And maybe things are going well for them now, but you know that, like yourself, they experience the stresses that come with being human, illness, old age, missing people, circumstances that they don't like. And so just imagine that you could free them from that and breathe their suffering into your heart and send them relief, comfort, freedom. And you can visualize that as a white light if you'd like, or a golden light, whatever works for you. Breathing in their darkness and sending them light. May they be free from suffering. And think of someone you're not getting along with. And realize that suffering takes a lot of forms, and sometimes those forms are unpleasant. So whatever the difficulty you're experiencing, that's their suffering coming in your direction. So we can just respond to it with kindness. May they be free from suffering. And finally, all beings. May all beings be free from suffering. And just like when we cultivate goodwill, you can think about different beings, different kinds of beings. And you know that they all experience all these cycles of coming and going. And that our practice is not just for ourselves, it's for the benefit of all beings. May they be free from suffering. And to end this meditation, bring your attention just to your heart, just feeling your breath there. You have great capacity to receive the suffering of others and yourself, and an endless capacity for compassion. So just sit quietly with your breath for a moment. The bell will ring twice to end the meditation. Hi, everybody. So, I got to say, I do miss that we don't get to have conversations about things like that meditation we just did. But, you can always come to the Zoom meeting on Thursday if you're able to. And if you have questions about things that happen on Wednesday, you can ask those. You can really talk about anything. So I want to talk about water. And the reason, there's no particular reason other than that the Zoom meetings are at 6 p.m. And if you, do you have our email address, Kathleen? If you email me, I will send you the Zoom link. Yeah, email me, I'll send you the Zoom link. And if you go to the Volusia Buddhist Fellowship website and subscribe to email address, updates, pretty much anybody that subscribes to anything is getting the same update right now, but you subscribe to what you want. And but I send out a weekly thing that says where all the online services and in-person services are. That's what I'm doing right now, because why not? So anyway, yeah, and those are, I'm really enjoying those Thursday night meetings myself. And people seem to be getting a lot out of it. So we'll continue those. So anyway, I've mentioned before, when some of you have heard me talk about this, that we do this event at Stetson called Big Words, where we take a concept of some sort and that's of kind of universal significance across different religious lines. And so one of the students actually suggested that we do Big Words wash, something having to do with water. I'm not sure if she said the word wash or she just said water. We always try to make them little words with big meaning, right? So one syllable typically. So wash it was. And I actually didn't talk. I actually just kind of coordinated the thing and helped put the program together. I've been talking too much at them. And so we had some guests. And it was really interesting. We had two professors from Stetson. One of them, a fellow named Robert Sittler, who's in the Latin American Studies department, but he likes to free dive. He dives down to the bottom of the cave at Blue Springs without scuba tanks, and those kinds of things. And he does a lot of underwater video and photography of great bodies of water, which are abundant right around here. Within an hour's drive, there's some really, really amazing places. And then we had a rabbi named Ed, whose last name suddenly Ed Rosenthal, who is the Hillel director, which Hillel is a Jewish students organization. And he founded an organization called Scooby Jew. They take Hillel groups scuba diving and stuff. And he has this really interesting spiritual relationship with being in the ocean and scuba diving. And then we had another religious studies professor from Stetson who talked about bathing in the Ganges. He's one of the professors that I went to India with. And so he had actually been there before and had shot a bunch of video there before. And, ritual washing in the Ganges. And then we had a Muslim woman who came to us from one of the Islamic centers. She's not clergy, but she's a counselor. She's a very good, speaker. And she talked about ritual washing in their tradition. They have to actually wash their face and hands and feet before they pray. um, among other things. And so she talked about that. And then we wrapped up with the other chaplain talked about something that a bunch of clergy had done in DeLand, where they got together and had this sort of, wasn't really interfaith because they were all Christian ministers, but sort of a group non-denominational gathering, and they washed each other's feet. You know, Jesus washed the feet of his disciples the night before his crucifixion, you know, and so there's a lot of spiritual significance to that. And so, of course, I was sitting through all of this going, I could have, you know, I should have talked because there's all this equivalency in Buddhism, but, you know, like I said, I talked too much already. So now I'm going to talk to you about it. But no, it actually is, it is I guess, I don't know if it's universal, but it certainly appears frequently in religion, the spiritual significance of water. And there's a little bowl. It's so small and dark, it's kind of hard to see, but there's a little bowl about so big that one of the other senseis with our organization gave me, that's on the altar, that's got water in it. And water represents our merit. And so we offer water to the Buddha as a symbol of offering the results of our goodness to our Buddhist practice, you could say. That would be one way of putting that. And so just about any Buddhist altar and any temple is going to have water in it in some form. At White Sands, it's kind of hard to see at White Sands too. There's two little clear containers up there on the altar, one either side of the Buddha, little crystal containers that have water in them. And in some Tibetan temples I've visited, they have a bunch of water, like 12 different little brass bowls with water in them. And I think it represents different kinds of merit. I'm not sure. I think that's what I was told. But anyway, you know, we're all aware of the importance of water as a resource. It's one of the four necessities of life. It's one of the things that we absolutely cannot live without. So it's a very precious treasure. We and most other beings are about 70% water, a little more than 70% water. So, you know, if you get dehydrated, you're actually losing part of yourself and can kill you very quickly. But it's a great spiritual resource, and it figures prominently in a number of Buddhist teachings. So most of us probably have some familiarity with the concept of ritual bathing, ritual washing. So when I was 13 years old, I was baptized, and this was at the church that we went to in Texas, and they had a very nice baptistry. I think that's what they call them still. That basically, it had a glass front. It was like a giant aquarium behind the altar up front. You couldn't always see it, but when they had baptisms, they would part the sliding doors or pull curtains aside or something so that it was revealed, and there was this giant glass thing of water, and so you could see the preacher and whoever was being baptized coming down into this, and you had robes on, and you were dumped completely submerged under water. It was really profound, you know, and it was cool looking too from the outside. And there's a religious group that used to do baptisms at the pool at the Y. I'm not sure if they still do, but you know, that ceremony is understood metaphorically, at least, to be washing away your sins. And so these ritual cleansing ceremonies like that go back thousands of years. So there's a sutra where a Brahmin visits the Buddha, and he asks the Buddha, he says, does Master Gautama go to the Bahuka River to bathe? So the Bahuka River was apparently a sacred river, and I'm not sure where it was, but it was considered holy, like the Ganges. Everybody knows about the Ganges, and the Buddha knew this, and he said, "Well, what good would it do? What good would bathing in that river do?" And this Brahmin says, "Truly, many people believe that river gives purification." He says in the Bahuka River, people wash away the evil deeds they've done. And so the Buddha reels off the name of a number of rivers that had a similar reputation. And then he said, a fool may forever bathe there and yet not purify his black deeds. But one who is pure in heart has no need for a ritual bath. It's in purity of heart and good deeds that you should bathe. Make yourself a safe refuge for all beings. And then he says, if you speak no untruth, nor harm living beings, nor take what isn't offered, then with faith and with no avarice, what would this river do for you? Let any well be your sacred river. In other words, if you purify your heart, then you don't need the purity of something from outside. And yet, in Buddhism, still, the idea of washing away sins is represented in a lot of what we do. So when when it's the Buddha's birthday, we bathe the baby Buddha, and again, it is representative of us, of our merit, being offered to the infant Buddha, and so symbolically, the results of our goodness are becoming this water that then is available to wash away sins, and since we're bathing the baby Buddha, we're really helping to create a condition that's going to purify the world. Okay, so the principle of merit relates to the law of karma. If you do a good thing, you get a good result. If you do a bad thing, you get a bad result. And so merit is the cumulative results of our good actions. I talked about that a couple of weeks ago. So there's nobody counting merit points or anything like that. We don't know how many gallons of merit we have, right, or anything like that. But but people often talk in Buddhist communities about merit as being kind of like causing something to happen out there. But really, like if I give alms to monks or make an offering to the Buddha or whatever, I'll get good luck. But merit really changes things in here, right? If I do a good thing, it affects my heart and mind. It affects the world that I live in also, if I do something good for someone, obviously. But the purification benefits me for sure. And so it can seem to manifest externally more than it does, because when we do kindnesses, when we do good things, when we train our mind, when we meditate, when we wish others happy and well, as we do in our services and so on, we're actually easing our own minds, making our own minds more capable of handling difficulties. And so if we live a good life, everyone benefits, but we tend to be happier. And so life seems a little easier and more pleasant when we do good things. It just does. It's kind of like if you were in really bad shape and you wanted to get in better shape. Once you start to exercise, things get a little easier. You hear sometimes about people who, elderly people who've been sedentary for a long time and can barely pick up a pan to cook with or take their trash out. And they start doing even a little bit of exercise and they get stronger and they're able to walk more comfortably and they're able to pick things up more easily and so on. So nothing got lighter. The distance from, your front door to the mailbox didn't get shorter, but your body got stronger. And in the same way, when we practice goodness, our minds get stronger, our hearts get stronger, our spiritual heart gets stronger. And so the world becomes a little bit easier. So what does this have to do with water? Well, there's two ways that we can deal with a stain or with a poison. We can wash it out or we can dilute it until it's not a problem. So how do you get stain out of fabric? You use pure water. You actually typically use detergent. What detergent does is it actually breaks down changes the way water interacts with things so that the water can get into stuff more and loosen it up. That's a whole other story that I should have Bill Nye, the science guy, tell you sometimes instead of me, because I'm not an expert on that. But that's basically what happens. And so the Buddha used this metaphor himself in a parable called the Simile of the Cloth. And he said, just as a cloth is stained, becomes clean and bright with the help of pure water, if someone has concentration and wisdom, his mind doesn't become stained by obstacles. Having a mind grown greater, loftier, boundless, and free from enmity and ill will, he suffuses the entire universe with loving kindness, compassion, gratitude, and serenity.